here we go on chapter 2. Now, I put up chapter 3 and was quickly informed that I wasn't sharing my screen. I was in a classroom over at Glenwood Springs, and it did not work for some damn reason, which I'm really annoyed with. I can't tell you how annoyed I am, but I am. And now I'm in my basement again, and I hope this works, because I'm trying to do about 7 things at once. And my internet connection is not great, but I'm going to try to go through chapter 2 homework and put it up so that you have it. And you can see I'm clicking through, going through the motions here. I think I improved. I also improved my microphone, but I talk loudly anyway, so I hope it's enough to get you where you need to go. If this recording sucks, I'm going to have to go someplace else and do it, because my internet is just not, Xfinity's not cutting it. And the internet, GuestNet was not cutting it yesterday. I'm so annoyed with all this equipment. But I guess I should practice acceptance, because we live in the mountains and this is sort of the way it is. And it's the beauty of living in the mountains. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon for us, which is one of the reasons to come to the classroom. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. If you're sitting at home going, oh, why am I not getting all this education? It's like, no, the education's in the classroom. And I realize that some of you can't do that, but I don't, when I go to these meetings and they say, what do you think of online learning? I say, I think it sucks. How about that? Except for a very small portion of people who thrive. You can see who it is right here, because one is submitted here. Chapter 2 homework. Here's a preview. And I believe that somebody asked me about 6 and 10. So I'm gonna go through them all. This is chapter 2 homework again. You're going to do a whole bunch of entries here for these transactions. And I don't know if I should make me smaller just to get me out of the way here. Or make me non-existent maybe, because who wants to see me? But anyway, here's requirement 1, prepare journal entries. So the first one, you got cash, office equipment, and common stock. This is what whoever brought to the table when they came to this company. Land, building, prepaid insurance, these are all cash transactions. And wage expenses, all these expenses together, there they are. No further explanation needed. Requirement 2 is going to be the ledger accounts. So you have the entries in the ledger, and then of course, and here they are. Let me put this over. Here's our accounts, our chart of accounts with 101, 106, 108, 163. You see, they're just numbers that were assigned to these. So you can see how this goes, and it keeps a balance over here. If it was a T account, like our little shorthand T accounts, you wouldn't. The normal balance would be on the bottom, whether it be a debit or a credit normal balance. It would be on the right or the left. And then a trial balance. As you can see, we're working through the accounting cycle, and the trial balance is the next, in chapter 2 is the next portion of that. So there's number 1. Number 2, I think, is more of the same. In number 2, Denzel Brooks opens a store, and they want you to do all these entries, right? Prepaid rent, office equipment. So if you're following along at home, there they are. pause the tape and see how they did it. Accounts payable, cash, prepaid insurance, cash, cash AR, accounts receivable, right, on and on. And each one of them with a date and a number, right? And make sure your debits are first and your credits are second. Prepaid insurance, you bought this, so you paid cash, you credit cash to make it smaller, minus, credit cash minus. Requirement 2 here, here's the ledger accounts again. There they go. Oops, what's that? Are we not, as our internet is not working, yay. Hopefully, I'm not too laggy, I don't think. I hope we're doing all right. But we'll find out. There they are though. And requirement 3, of course, the trial balance. So the same question as number 1. You know, the redundancy is for practice. No explanations go with these. They're pretty straightforward. Excuse me. Unfortunate sneeze. 3. I'm downstairs in we're doing a little remodel down here. So there's a young man helping me, which I need help because I'm not in great shape, but he's working. So now the third one here, web consulting, here we are, transactions in March 1st to the 31st, right? Periodicity, we're closing the books at the end of March. It's a 1-month period, and we're going to close the books and do the accounting cycle in that period. So here's the first requirement, is prepare journal entries. There they are in the general journal. Right, and just get them so you can see them. Right, requirement 2. Here's the ledger accounts. Right, one by one. And all those different accounts in our chart of accounts. And then finally, the trial balance, more of the same. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debits to increase cash, accounts receivable, supplies, all those things, right? These are asset accounts, prepaid rent, office equipment, all those. These are liabilities. Accounts payable, common stock is of course owner's equity. Dividends we debit to increase because we paid some dividends. And then here's some expenses. We have some revenue and some expenses. A little income statement there. All right, number 4 in this homework, same type of problem, business transactions, Hannah Benedict. This is September, and they're lettered each one, and then the requirements are here. You read the whole question before you start to do it. That's my suggestion. Requirement 1 is, of course, all of this. Here we go. Right? Cash, office equipment, common stock. Right? We debit these things to increase the cash, increase office equipment, and then we credit common stock. That's what whomever Ms. What's her name, Benedict got for starting this business. She got common stock. Automobiles were bought with common stock. That's number D. That's weird. Benedict, it's not weird, but it's something that might throw you. Benedict invested an automobile in the company in exchange for more common stock. She said, I'm just going to give my company my car. And your CPA, your tax accountant might say, that's a good idea, do that. Then we can write off the payments on the car and expense them. In this case, the car was just worth $16,000. There wasn't any expense involved. But the R&M, the repairs and maintenance, could be expensed. So a good way to avoid taxes and increase your expenses, right? Requirement 2, of course, is these ledger accounts. Cash, each one of the transactions goes into either a debit or a credit, right? Debit to increase, credit to decrease. And we've got all these. There's accounts payable, that's the liability. Credit to increase, debit to decrease, right? And notice the letters are next to all these. C, E, I, D, A, D. If you don't put those, it'll say you're incomplete, which is a pain in the drain. Trial balance here. Should be HV Consulting. There they are. Right. So that's that one. Here's 5 to 7. I think now we're getting into the area where I had students who were confused. 5 to 7. Here's the information up here, right? Nettle distribution, balance sheet year 1 and balance sheet year 2 is number 5. Here they are. Balance sheet year 1, balance sheet year 2. So no further explanation necessary. You're just basically filling in the blanks here and adding some things up. If you don't understand these, I'll go over them in class too. Number 6, I think she had trouble with. Compute income for year 2 by comparing total equity amounts, right? So you had the total equity in year 1, and here's year 1 and year 2, the explanation of these. So the net income was 100,928, right? And it shows you how they got to this. This is added stock and dividends to get you down to 109.28, right? Because you had stock, people purchased stock to invest in the company, and also we paid some dividends. So that's probably what was hanging people up. I hope was this number here.